And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and we finally have some sort of NBA 2K21 news. So we got a new courtside report. Estimated read time 12 minutes 17 seconds. Once again, 2K really undervaluing my comprehension skills. I tested high in reading. That was in the 5th grade, but that's besides the point. So, we got a whole new blog filled with gameplay features, new badges, etc. I believe this is the 5th courtside report in relation to NBA 2K22. We got Luka yelling or whatever. They should have used a picture of him smoking a hookah. Personally, that's how I would have preferred to see it, but it is what it is. We got the gameplay reveal trailer. I can't remember if that was yesterday or the day before. Either way, there was absolutely nothing new in it, so there really wasn't anything to unpack or even make a video about. It's that time of year when we get to unpack all of the exciting gameplay enhancements and new features coming your way with NBA 2K22. I'm interested. You got me. I don't like this photo of Luka, by the way. It makes me uncomfortable. It looks like he's looking at me in a very overt way with a lot of sexual undertones that I'm not a huge fan of, personally. Hello, 2K fans. All three of you. It's that time of year. I already read that. First year developing on new consoles always brings new challenges, such as major code rewrite. Okay, so this is the part of the dev blog every year. This is my personal favorite part, where they essentially are like, hey, so this is why last year sucked, actually. So it's like not our fault. It's actually these reasons, and that's why the game wasn't very good. This is my favorite part. But with all that behind us, I am absolutely certain that it is behind you guys. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess we'll find out. The gameplay team was laser focused on one goal with NBA 2K22, making a great gameplay experience. Look, I truly want to believe this. I do. I want to believe this. I want to believe this is accurate. I really do. We had an ambitious feature list that we wanted to tackle this year. Faster paced gameplay, tighter and more responsive movement, more skill-based offense, big changes to the player builder. Okay. All of which we're going to tackle in today's blog. We also made a strong push to ensure that we were delivering the same quality gameplay upgrades on both current and next-gen systems, or new-gen systems. So no matter which version you choose to go with this year, you're going to get a brand new experience. Okay, right off the bat, I just want to put this out there. Like, you guys didn't have to do any of this, right? You could have just had the same gameplay experience on both current and next-gen. You could have just done that. Pretty much every other sports game did that, and it seemed to work out pretty well for them. You specifically are the only sports game that wanted to make two completely different experiences for seemingly no reason other than selling 2 copies of the game or selling an updated version of the game that costs, $100 instead of $60. Look, you guys know I'm honest about 2K always. I'm not going to slander them for no reason, but when they do something bad, I am going to call it on them, essentially. And this is something bad that they're doing. This is the reason they're doing it. There can't be any other reason that they would do it other than monetarily. It's so that the people who are really dedicated to 2K, content creators specifically, will buy multiple versions of the game. And it is a detriment to the game. So if they really wanted to right the ship on that, they would have just focused on making one experience for both. Hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe they're both great. One of them is going to be bad, though. It's just... the question is the other one going to be good? That's the real question, because for sure one of them is not going to be so good. But is the other one going to be good? Because this year, next gen wasn't good, but it was better than current gen. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping to avoid this year, and that's what I think everyone's hoping to avoid. All right. The first priority, defense. So let's get started. Okay. The primary goal for defense was to give gamers the tools to be able to really change the outcome of the game on the floor and at the rim. If you were a great perimeter defender who anticipated well, we wanted you to be able to clamp up the dribbler and force a pass. Fair enough. I mean, it doesn't really specify anything. If you were a rim protector, we wanted to give you the ability to send away weak shots at will, or shot attempts at will. Our engineers were determined to achieve those goals and were extremely happy with the results. The shot contest and blocking systems were completely rebuilt. Okay, so I like this, leading to several new snatch blocks and volleyball spikes. I hate volleyball spikes so much. That never happened before. Hopefully this means when you do volleyball spike the ball, and what that means is specifically Shaquille O'Neal cards will do this quite often. He is one of the cards in relation to my team that will do this often, where he'll go up for the block and he'll just literally send it 50 feet soaring away from the basket. I'm hoping what this means is there's an actual chance for your team to recover the ball when a volleyball spike block occurs, because that's been a gameplay detriment for a long period of time. Is players that have that block animation and do it consistently, like, you never recover the ball afterwards. It's very rare that you do. So if they did rework that, I think that makes guys like Shaq and a few other guys a little bit more usable on the defensive end. So this also paved the way to reward basketball IQ much more in our shooting systems. The shot contest rewrite removed the ghost contest that many complained about in next gen specifically. This is misleading, and the reason I say that is chances are they're not completely gone. They're just going to be drastically reduced. So it's not going to be like on next gen where they'll be like 10 feet away, and once they get in like this big circle, it's automatically a 10% contest or whatever. I think it'll be more close to current gen and how it works. So, and this year's being out of position or not getting a hand in the shooter's face will lead to some easy buckets for the offense. On the other hand, properly crowding shooters with good contests. Okay, so contesting shots equals bricks. Leaving people open probably means they make it. So yeah, it's probably going to be similar to 2K21 current gen, where if they're open with no contest, they're probably going to make a bunch of whites. For floor defenders, body uprides and bumps feel much more rewarding, as the motion team, I don't know why I couldn't read that, has dramatically improved the feel of on-ball defensive movement. I mean, that's good, because I think that's the one thing I can say 2K did at least somewhat of a better job of this year, especially on next gen, is like on next gen it kind of forced you, because the defensive AI was so bad, it kind of forced you to play on-ball defense, which is something we hadn't seen from 2K in a few years, and that was pretty cool. But nothing really else of note. Unwanted bump steals and snatchy body ups have been reduced in favor of giving both the ball handler and on-ball defender more freedom of movement and respected input. I hate bump steals, so that's fun, but I don't know how much it's going to work. Shifts, launches, stops, and cuts all feel much tighter, and with even more new-gen foot planting improvements, you'll see a lot less sliding. All right, yeah, we'll see. Steals also received an upgrade with a greater emphasis placed on the steal attribute. All right, that's good. I'm great. This is good. Low-rated stealers get sluggish animations that punish them when they reach, while high-rated stealers with good timing and opportunity will be able to pick pockets at a much higher rate. Okay, so this is good, right? Because now they're tying animations to attributes as opposed to badges. I'm not exactly sure how they were doing it before, because we had guys like AI and Michael Jordan who had great steal animations, and Kawhi. And then guys who had great steal ratings but didn't have those same animations. So I'm interested to see how this is going to go. Also, be prepared to see more layup and dunk strips from high-rated stealers when slashers try to force their way. Okay. Defensive AI. All right. Defense was also a major focus on the new Gen AI front. Dazar, our resident X's and O's expert. Dazar. Okay. And the AI team wanted to create a strong foundation to build on for many years to come. So it looks like they're just improving defensive AI. New on-ball defensive positioning logic, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's my problem with that, is if you played Next Gen this year, when you played against a CPU, it was almost impossible to drive past them majority of the time. You really had to cheese them. And I'm just hoping that's not the case this year. Brand new hedge defender logic and behaviors. This is all a bunch of jargon. Essentially what it's coming down to, because reading this, I mean, it's going to make it sound like the game is completely overhauled. Realistically, what this means is the CPU is going to play better defense, but they're trying not to make it overpowered. That's what this basically means. And the AI is no longer going to double as much, causing open threes. I don't know. It's interesting. What I don't like about this whole situation is people are going to find a way to exploit this. Whether it be on the defensive end or the offensive end, they're going to find ways around it. They're also going to find ways to go into the defensive settings and make it so they actually don't have to play defense at all, which is what happened in 2K21. Think about going on Unlimited right now. Most of the time you're playing with a guy whose defensive settings are so crazy that they barely actually have to play defense on their own most of the time. So I'm just hoping that's not the case. Dribbling offense, blah, 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 will never be neglected in any 2K basketball game. It's true. But what exactly does that mean? I don't know. The 1-to-1 basic size ups have been removed and replaced by 1-to-1 signature size ups. What does that mean? Flicking the Pro Stick in various directions last year gave you fairly generic looking size ups. I mean, they're overhauling the dribble moves and essentially making them more signature based, meaning, cards are going to have signature animations. Now, this is very important. Honestly, this dribbling stuff is more important in regards to like Park or in regards to Play Now or any of the other modes. When it comes to my team, initially it's going to start out like this, where everyone will have different, unique dribble moves. As my team progresses, they'll find the 4 or 5 cheesiest ones and just keep putting them on every single card. So it's not really worth reading into this too much. Just playing my team for as long as I have, we all know how this goes. Once again, this is one of those things where I'm not really going to understand it until I get my hands on it and start playing with it. This is just words. This is just mumbo jumbo. It doesn't matter. There are a ton of other new combos, cancels, move chains, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. They did add some Wnba dribble styles, which is interesting. I'm interested to see what's up. Okay. I don't know. I'm interested. I thought Dirk had a lightsaber. Now, here is where I'm interested. Now a little treat for the bigs. We spent a lot of time upgrading post-play with loads of new content, including new movement and a new arsenal of back-to-the-basket moves, similar to face-up ball handling. Because, realistically, post-play hasn't really been viable for a long period of time in 2K. I feel like everyone kind of knows that. There's certain times in every 2K's lifespan where post-play will start to be at least semi-meta, and then 2K will quickly nerf it because it gets too overpowered in Park. And even though it's only semi-overpowered in my team, they nerf it across all game modes. So, is that going to happen this year? Quite possibly. Similar to face-up ball handling, many of the new moves are cancels and aborts, which is not bad. That's been a pretty lackluster part of post-play for a while. For example, start a post spin by twirling the Pro Stick, then immediately move the left stick in the opposite direction for a spin back. There are also new right trigger R2 fakes that keep you engaged in post, allowing you to chain multiple fakes together without disengaging. That's good because pump fakes were just non-existent for the last few years, so I'm stoked on it. Blah, blah, blah. Just make Dirk shoot his actual fadeaway. That's all I really care about. Truly. Give Hakeem Olajuwon his actual post moves. Stuff like that. That's really all I care about. Other than that, you can do whatever you want with post play. Just make it a viable option, because it's been a long period of time since you could actually play in the post, and have a post playing offensive scheme. Because at this point, especially early on when we get to the early game, there's basically no point in using a non-shooting center because post play is so unviable. You know what I mean? So I'm really hoping that they at least make post system usable enough where you could build somewhat of an offensive game plan around post play if you really wanted. If I wanted to use an Andre Drummond card that had good post badges in the early game, I should be able to do that. But at this point, he's there to rebound and block shots, and he can do basically nothing else except for maybe some alley-oops and a putback dunk occasionally. You know what I mean? I would just hope that I could throw it down, especially if somebody's using a Kristaps or a weak center. I should be able to get easy buckets for the for the most part on guys like that if I was using a Drummond. You know what I mean? It's just, I know I sound pessimistic a lot, but it's just really hard for me to believe 2K is going to balance any of this stuff possible. It's possible, but I just don't think they're going to balance it properly. I really don't. And it's just because 10 plus years of seeing them try to implement this stuff and it never being balanced properly, and then just abandoning it 2 months into the game's lifespan, it's just made me a little pessimistic. Shooting has undergone many changes for NBA 2K22. There's a new shot meter with a dynamically resizing make window. Okay, I love that. This window will expand when you're taking high-quality shots with good shooters, but will shrink when heavily contested, shooting with a low-rated shooter, or fatigued. Thank you. Okay, because I am tired of the players getting superpowers the minute they get fatigued. I want to have to use my bench unit while I'm playing limited or unlimited, any of that stuff. I want to have to use my bench unit. Like, if you don't use a bench unit, you should be punished by letting your 5 players play for the entire game. That's just how I feel. Because, like, for Limited this year, how many times did we just use our starting 5s instead of not even touching the bench? I don't think I touched the bench since Season 1 because I thought I had to, but then I didn't. The major emphasis for shooting success this year is shot IQ. The teams that work for open looks and take smart shots are going to see much more success than the teams that force up bad shots. That sounds completely opposite of 2K21, which is good. It sounds elementary. Don't get facetious over here, 2K. But it's something we really keyed in on this year, as taking quality shots was more or less overshadowed by ratings and stick skills. Thank you. I am one of the people who loves Allen Houston. Shot timing still plays a major role in the skill gap, and yes, you can still get an additional boost for turning the meter off, okay, but will only take you so far if you're taking bad shots. We've heavily focus group tested the new shooting mechanics with players of all skill levels and believe that this is the best that shooting has ever felt in NBA 2K. I would like to see some names. I believe that they did test it, but I would like to see some names like, hey, we used this creator, this creator, this creator. These guys tested it out. You know, they told us it felt good. I understand that even if they use creators, they might not want to put their signature on anything 2K related because that could hurt them. But I just want to know. And I don't want to use people who are like, 2K affiliated. You know what I mean? Because they're not ever going to tell, super 2K affiliated. Because they're not going to tell 2K when they're doing a bad job. Which is, I'm not saying you have to slander them, but like if they ask you, hey, how does this shooting feel? And you're just like, yeah, that's good. That's not helping anyone. Like, I want people to be like, hey, it's okay, but it needs to be faster. The ghost can test their back, blah, 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 blah. I just don't know if 2K has those kind of people testing the shooting. We also made a strong push to get more of a skill gap into finishing at the rim. Good. As beautiful as our motion capture dunks are, it was a shame that once you saw one fire off, you basically knew it was an automatic 2 points. Not 100% necessary if you're in TTO and you do the wrong dunk animation, which happens pretty often. It gets blocked a lot, but yeah. With the revamped blocking system, we're now giving rim protectors more tools to make great stops at the rim. I like that. On top of that, on new gen, we've added timing meters to both alley-oop and aggressive skill dunk attempts. Okay. When an alley pass is in the air, you'll need to press the shot button at the right time to finish off the oop. This might not work well, but it's going to be funny, so I'm cool with it. If you're too early or late, you'll either smoke the finish or miss the catch completely. Side note, you can force bounce pass alleys this year. Sick. And on the dunking side, holding sprint and pulling straight down the pro stick will trigger the aggressive skill dunks. When you have a defender standing underneath the rim, using the aggressive skill dunk feature will let you basically force a dunk attempt on demand as long as you have a strong dunker and you have a bit of runway. It's tough to hit the perfect timing for these high-risk, high-reward plays, but it's so gratifying when you can pull it off. And I'm guessing that these specific dunks have a very large impact on the takeover meter, would be my guess. We've also added dunk celebrations into the game this year. That's tight. That worked very similarly to the green release jump shot landing celebrations. So not only can you throw down some nasty dunks in traffic, you can also celebrate a little bit afterward. Do a signature dance. I want to do the Charleston. Yeah, or the twist. I don't think they're going to have those in there. I think it's going to be like Fortnite stuff, but it is what it is. I mean, if they have an old-timey, what is that? Ragtime? Like a ragtime dance? Or like a, what's that variety show from like 1910? Vaudeville. Yeah, like a vaudeville celebration. The last thing I wanted to mention about dunks in NBA 2K22, now you'll have the ability to completely customize your dunk repertoire with an all-new dunk style creator. I don't think this is going to have much to do with my team, but it would be sick if it did. Builds, badges, and takeover. Okay. Player builds, I don't really care about player builds. If you guys want to read that on your own, I'll go over it a little bit. The amount of badge points at your disposal has been increased significantly, giving you more options for how to badge out your My Player. The new detailed builder screen, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Here are the new badges you can play around with in NBA 2K22. Fast twitch, ability to get off the floor quicker for standing layups and dunks. Okay, this is good for big men. All right. Grace under pressure, ability to convert standing layups more effectively. Okay. I mean, we'll see how it's implemented. Limitless Takeoff. Okay. Ability to soar from farther away on driving dunk attempts. All right. Once this gets to Hoff, if 2K does not implement this correctly, people are going to be dunking from the free throw line with like players that shouldn't be doing this. Think about late game my team with Limitless Takeoff. Yeah. Think about Mark Eaton taking off from the free throw line. I don't like where this is going. Mouse in the house. Ability for bigs to finish over shorter players more effectively. Okay. That just seems like it should be a standard feature. But I guess there's a badge for it now. Great. Unstrippable. Ability to secure the ball better when gathering for a layup, dunk, and traffic. This is going to be one of the most important badges in the game for sure. If they're hyping up this steal system this much, having a card with Unstrippable is going to be of the utmost importance. Chef. Ability to knock down Steph-like off-dribble deep threes. Okay. I take that back. Chef will actually be one of the most important badges in the game because 2K cannot help themselves. This badge is going to be so ungodly overpowered. I mean, this badge itself could signal the return of leaners to a certain extent. That's not good. Limitless Spot Up. Ability to hit logo range threes off a catch and shoot. So are they just not going to have range extender? Because if you can have range extender and Limitless Spot Up, oh, that's not good. Boost your ability to score when shooting early in the clock. Okay, actually, I like that badge. That's interesting. As someone who chucks the ball extremely early, I like that. Mismatch expert. Ability to successfully shoot over taller defenders on a switch. Okay, badges like this. See, they make smaller point guards a little more viable in my team. Good. Glue hands, we've obviously talked about. Ability to make difficult catches and quicker branch out to a shot or a dribble. Yeah, it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. Hyperdrive, boost the speed and effectiveness of moving dribble moves. Okay, so it's a little different than I thought. Boost the ability to quickly chain dribble moves together. Quick chain is exactly what we thought. Boost the effectiveness of both shots and moves when playing in the post. Okay. Increases the effectiveness of triple threat, fakes, jabs, and go moves. Whatever. Ball stripper, ability to strip layup and dunk attempts more effectively. All right. I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised that exists. Hustler, ability to get those scrappy 50-50 balls quicker than opponents. This badge is going to be on so many white guys. It is. Menace. Significantly drops the offensive rating of opponents when you smother them. Okay, this is going to be awful. I hate this badge already. This is going to be a painful badge to deal with in my team. That brings our total badge count to 80, with a number of existing badges also getting some nice upgrades. There's a lot to choose from and many ways to impact the game, so the loadout feature is a welcome addition. Last, but certainly not least, we ported all 80 badges to current gen. Gross. One final My Player upgrade I wanted to call out is a new gen exclusive called Takeover Perks. These are modifiers that you can unlock and equip to strengthen your existing takeover abilities. I'm not going to list them out because we want them to be a surprise, but it's a great upgrade to the takeover system that adds a layer of depth and strategy to how you compete online. Now, here's the thing. Are they going to port this to my team in some way, shape, or form? Are you going to be able to perk out your takeovers with certain players? Are they going to be packable? That's probably what they're going to be, or grindable, if they do port them over. Very interested to see how that goes. Those are the main features I wanted to highlight for this year's Gameplay Courtside Report. I feel like I've been typing too long already. I have been reading a lot. But there's so much more that goes into the nuts and bolts of 2K's gameplay in this blog, blah, 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 blah. Tirelessly, we've been working real hard. Don't be mad at us when this game sucks, blah, blah, blah. Our goal is to create fun and competitive gameplay. We're sorry when that doesn't happen. Don't yell at me. It's not Ronnie's fault. Okay, so here. In fact, we had the wonderful opportunity to bring in several respected community members and 2K pros to beta test gameplay a few weeks ago. Now, they're not going to tell us who those people are because that's very important. And the reason I say it's very important is because of a variety of factors, right? There's a variety of factors that are important to think about when you bring in community members specifically to beta test a game. Here are the factors in question. A, are they competitive level players? Now, this is important for a couple different reasons. A, if they're not competitive level players, they're really not going to care about the gameplay switches, and they're going to, want it to be a little easier, which, is not the worst thing in the world. But, like, for instance, if you bring in guys like Carlos Story or Troy Dan, I mean, how much are they really going to have to say about the actual gameplay? You know what I mean? Like, what possible information could you extract from those guys? Not saying they're not smart or anything, but they're not, like, comp-level players or anything, so I don't know if they would necessarily even know the information that you want to get from a beta test, except that, oh, yeah, this plays well. I have fun playing this. That's it. On the opposite side, if you bring in comp-level guys, this is fun, I have fun playing this mindset kind of goes out the window, so you have to have a nice mix of the two. Because if you bring in someone like really anyone who competed in the 250K tournament, you know, whatever fits their play style is obviously going to be what they're going to try to push for in their reviews of the gameplay, you know what I mean? So if someone's more defensive oriented, you know, they're obviously going to try to go in more of a defensive oriented way. If you get someone like Splash Edition, for instance, like he's all about shooting threes, so obviously he's going to want to shoot threes. So you have to have a mixture of everything, and I just don't trust 2K to do that properly. That's why I wish we had a list of the guys that actually got brought in, or the people, I should say. I say guys very broadly, but it's gender neutral up in here. Yeah, the beta testers themselves, I wish they had a list of them, so we could get an idea of, like, the diversity of players that we have coming in. Because if we have, like, a nice mix of, like, you know, casual players, some actual, like, known beta testers, some comp guys, maybe a couple random content creators that they're kind of up in there as far as, like, what they are, and then, like, some fun guys, like, you know, like the Troy Dens and stuff. If we had, like, a good mix of those things, I think that would be very beneficial for 2K. I just don't trust exactly that they did that, and I think they just probably brought on the biggest names that they have signed to 2K, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing for casual players because the game will be a little bit more fun and easy to get into. Maybe bad for comp players, and if they did it the opposite, it's going to be the opposite. So hopefully they have a good mixture. I mean, I'm personally excited. We'll see what happens. It comes out in about, what's the date today? I don't even know. 31st, I think. Comes out in about 10 days. We'll know then. We get some more My Team news on Thursday, so it's going to be pretty interesting. As always, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Let me know what you think down in the comments, by the way, of the dev blog. What are you excited for? What are you not? You excited to have 80 badges on a GOAT card at the end of the year? I am. Are you excited to watch Mark Eaton dunk from the free throw line? I most certainly am. Peace out, guys.